functions. These are going to be built-in, predefined formulas that you can quickly and easily insert into your worksheet cells. And then you have an argument, which can be cell references, constants, formulas, or even other functions or logical values. Okay, so on here we have where we can insert functions. Okay, so sum function, where it says equal and then sum, and then the argument is B2 plus all those cells in between B2 to E2. And then your function result is going to be your total in the box. So we have a couple of different ways that we can do that. So we can come over here and we can say that we want this total. Okay, so the total in between the cells and the tax. So we will do tax on this one. We'll change that. And then we'll go total here. Oops. If I can get my finger spacing correct, we will put total there. Okay, so you want this one plus this one to give you a total here. Okay, so you can either do auto sum, or we can do equals sum, open parentheses, click on this cell, hit your plus sign, click on this cell, and then close your parentheses. Okay, so because that is B2 plus C2, and it gives you your total, we can actually take this and we can auto-fill it down, and it will give you your totals all the way down, so you don't have to plug that formula in every single time. So now I have this one, and it says B3 plus C3. Click on this one, it says B4 plus C4, and then B5 plus C5, and so forth and so on. Okay, so that is one way that you can do that with your autofill. And then you can put in your argument, and you can also put in your function result. Okay, so my function result is here on my numbers. So it's the 59,778. These are my results themselves. My argument is the B2 plus C2. I didn't need to put a colon. I could have. It wouldn't have changed anything, so I could do colon. Okay, and it just does the same exact thing. So it's still adding those two numbers together. Okay, and I still get the same results. But normally you want to do that if you're doing like a huge range in between that, and not necessarily just two numbers. Okay, you have a function library group. So if you are looking for something and you are not quite sure if it even exists, much less anything else, you can actually go to the function library, which is on the top of your bar, and it tells you that this is a function library group under formulas. So let's take a look at that. Here's our formula tab, and here is our function library. Okay, so here's your auto sum. Again, there's two different ways you can do that, either on your home screen or right there on the functions or formulas tab. So here we have recently used. So if you have been working on your spreadsheet and you're like, oh, how did I get that formula? You know, I need to get it again, but I'm starting a new sheet. Then you can come in here, and I've used sum, average, hyperlink, count. These are some that have been recently used within the spreadsheet. If you are a financial person, you do have different ways that you can put formulas in here. We're not going to go through each and every one of them, but you are more than welcome to hover your mouse over them, and it will tell you what it will do for you. So this one's the returns accrued interest for a security that pays periodic interest. Okay, so this is going to be for your interest rates on there. So if that's something that you would use in your job, you are more than welcome to look at that particular function and then kind of play around with it with some numbers and see if that works for you. There's definitely different kinds of these. So this one returns the previous coupon date before settlement date. So if you wanted to look at that, and then you have payment, this one. So your payment itself, okay, this one's going to calculate the payment for a loan. This is based on constant payments. So if you have, and also an interest rate. So if you have a car payment that you make every single month and you want to see how long it takes you to pay that car off, or if you make more than that particular payment, how long it's going to take you to pay that off, or if you can pay all the interest off, this would be a great formula to figure that out with. So you would take the total amount of the car and then plus the interest rate and multiply that out with this particular formula. So that one's a good one to take a look at if that's something you're interested in. And then also the PV. So this one is the returns present value on an investment. And then the total amount that a series of future payments is worth now. So depending on your investment, if you invest in a mutual fund or stocks and bonds or anything that has an interest rate, if you put in the amount now and you continue to put in the same amount and it grows with the interest rate, then how much would you have stating in like 2025 or something along those lines? So that would be a good one to use for that one. And then you have logical. Okay, so this is going to be your and, false, if. These particular formulas are going to say like if the commission rate is below 80,000, then it will come back as true. So you would put in that formula and you would say, you know, what if on those situations and it comes back true or false or an error. Okay, so then you have text and you can go through each one of these. And then you have date and time, which these are very interesting to go through. So when you want that automatic date every time you bring like a spreadsheet up, so if I wanted this spreadsheet to have a particular date, so it has the year, the month, the day, each time that I open up that spreadsheet or each time that I open up that letterhead, then that date changes to the day that it is on your calendar. Okay, so it's not something that you have to go in and change each and every time. Every time you open it up, it comes to the current date that you're at. If you are in HR and you want to look at some of the, like if you have national holidays, so you have like your work day and then you have your network days. So this is going to tell you if you have holidays within there or which ones are between the two dates. This one is your start date, your end date, and if you have holidays and weekends in there too. So it will return that number of how many days were actually worked. If you want to do the monthly date, this returns the month, a number from January to the 1st of January to December. So January to December on your months. You have lookup references. These are not anything. You can do lookup if you are doing like your VLOOKUPs and your HLOOKUPs, which will be more into your Excel level 3, because those are how you combine and look up formulas in between two different spreadsheets. If you are math and trigonometry and you need help and you want formulas, you can go in here. And then if you need more functions to where you're not quite sure if it's statistical, engineering, cube, information, compatibility, and web. Okay, but for right now, we are probably going to stick with our sums and some of our financials and a little bit of our dates. So that's what we're going to stick with just to keep on the more basic side of it on what you might be using.